Lords, I join other noble lords with warmest congratulations to my noble friend for securing this debate and his characteristically comprehensive introduction. My Lords, I refer to my interest in the Register as the founder of Humanitarian Aid Relief Trust HART, which works with courageous partners in remote locations, risking their lives to provide life-saving aid for displaced communities. Time only allows two examples: Nigeria and the historically Armenian enclave of Nagorno Karabakh. In Nigeria, almost 3 million civilians are internally displaced due to insurgency and conflict. The UK government's response has been predominantly focused on the northeast, but has not provided aid to the Middle Belt, one of the regions worst affected by Islamist attacks. We have visited many times and personally witnessed the results of massacres, atrocities, forced displacement. HART receives almost daily reports of killings, rape, abductions, enslavement, land grabs, and mass forced displacement in the Middle Belt. Our local partner, Reverend Canon John Hassan, told me that for over 10 years, displaced villagers have been forced to rely on aid from local churches or NGOs. He said, I quote, "I can say categorically there's been very little or no aid, not even from the state or federal government of Nigeria, and I'm not aware of any assistance from the British government in the central region." One example, in southern Kaduna State, at least 7 communities have recently been attacked. Villagers are forced to move into the next village, but none of these villages have received any security or humanitarian assistance. Families in neighbouring villages do what they can to absorb and care for their relatives. In one room, I saw 40 people sleeping on the same floor. End of quote. Therefore, may I ask the Noble Lord the Minister if you will confirm that Her Majesty's Government will ensure immediate humanitarian support for displaced people in the Middle Belt? And will he arrange for the Africa Minister to meet with colleagues from the All-Party Parliamentary Group of Freedom of Religion and Belief, and myself as co-chair, to discuss what action has been taken following the group's report on whether escalating atrocities in Nigeria represent an unfolding genocide? Turning briefly to Nagorno-Karabakh, 80% of the historically Armenian enclave is now occupied by Azerbaijan. In 2020, more than 91,000 people fled to Armenia from Karabakh. 88% of them were women and children. More than 40,000 were deprived of their homes in areas such as Shushi and Hadrut regions, which are still under occupation of Azerbaijan armed forces. My Lords, I've had the painful privilege of visiting the region more than 85 times during the wars in the 1990s and 2020. Last September, I visited the Sunik region in Armenia to witness the suffering caused by Azeri military incursions into Armenian territory, causing displacement of local villages within Armenia itself. Countless refugees describe the anguish of the loss of loved ones, and Azerbaijan still violates the conditions of the 2020 ceasefire by detaining Armenian prisoners of war and civilians and perpetrating atrocities, sometimes taking the prisoners' phones and filming on those phones the horrendous activities and send those pictures back to their families. My Lords, refugees also describe the loss of livelihoods, agricultural lands, water resources, and other vital infrastructure. Yet the Armenians of Nagorno-Karabakh have received almost no support from the UK government. The UN Secretary-General's official spokesperson in May last year unequivocally indicated that it is Azerbaijan that, despite the calls of the international community, and the UN in particular, has not provided permission for unhindered humanitarian access to Nagorno-Karabakh, and that situation remains the same. Therefore, in conclusion, can the Noble Lord the Minister confirm that the UK will no longer turn a deaf ear to this cry for help and will ensure provision of urgent humanitarian assistance to the thousands of Armenians displaced by war? In both Nigeria's Middle Belt and Nagorno-Karabakh, the UK has failed to acknowledge, let alone address, the root causes of mass displacement. Perpetrators have carried out atrocities with impunity. There's been no justice or support for victims and their families. Therefore, may I urge the Noble Lord the Minister to give greater priority to the problems I have identified and to many others suffering in similar situations.